ended yesterday's video by saying this: if it's not Christ, kick it out. You know what? Why? You might be saying, why? Why would I want to do that? Well, the Apostle Paul answers that question in verses 9, 10, and 11. The Apostle Paul starts out verse number 9 by saying this: for. Now, anytime that you see the word for, you have to ask yourself, what's it for? What's why? And the why is the reason why we need to make sure that we watch what we think, that we are not being taken captive by philosophies and empty deceit. The reason why is because, and Paul goes on and he says, for in him all the fullness of deity dwells in bodily form. This is the reason. You're not going to find deity anywhere else. You're not going to find God anywhere else except in Christ. You understand? You see, I believe there's people, even Christian people, even people that will die and go to heaven, that are constantly looking for God, but they're looking in the wrong place. Brothers and sisters, we need to settle this in our minds. The only place that you can find the divine, to find the deity, to find God, is in Christ. In him, for in him, all the fullness, all the completeness. This word fullness actually means to be filled all the way to the top, so there's no room for anything else. All the fullness of the deity in a bodily form. What's Paul saying? Paul is telling us that in Christ we find all that God is. And we find it in a bodily form. You say, well, what does that mean? Did you know that Jesus came to earth for the purpose of revealing God to us? His actions, the way he did things to show us God, to show us the love of the Father, to show us his mercy, to show us his kindness, to show us his justice, to show us forgiveness. Jesus came. He was the fullness of God, but Jesus came in a bodily form so that we could see God. Jesus told his disciples, his disciples are looking for God, and Jesus said, if you see me, you see him. Do we understand that the reason why we don't run to philosophies and run to places of empty decision is because everything that we ever are seeking for, every bit of divinity that we would ever try to find, is in Jesus. It's in Christ. And it's in Christ in a bodily form. It's in Christ as something that we can understand and that we can grasp by looking at the life of Jesus himself. Do you understand? You don't have to go anywhere else except to Jesus. Take a look at who he is. Take a look at what he did. Take a look at how he walked. Take a look at how he sacrificed himself. And you know what? If you will look at Jesus, if you'll read the four Gospels and look at Jesus, you know what? You will see the fullness of deity. You will see the fullness of who God is. Now let's go to verse number 10. In him. And now we can go ahead and say this is another reason why we don't chase after philosophies and empty deceit, because in him you have been made complete. Now I stopped there, not because I forgot what I was going to say. I stopped there because I want you to understand that only in Jesus will you ever be made complete. Maybe you're saying, well, I just don't feel like I have everything that I need. I need to delve into this part of the supernatural. Or I need to go over here and I need to invest into understanding Greek mythology. Or I need to go over here and get into some traditional worship, the orthodoxy. If I get into the orthodoxy, I've actually had a man tell me this one time. If I get into the orthodoxy, I will understand God better. No. No, no, no. Why? Because in Jesus, you are made complete. Now notice, past tense. Paul didn't say, in Jesus, you will someday be made complete. No, he said, in Christ, in him, you have been made complete. All the way filled to the very top. You see, Paul in verse number 9 says that in Jesus, you see the fullness of the Godhead. But then he says, now for us, we are made complete. We have the fullness. We are full. We are complete because of Jesus. Not because of tradition, not because of what you know, not because of the books you see or the movies you watch, not because of the preachers you listen to, but in Christ, you have been made complete, 100% full. And then he says, he is the head over all rule and authority. Did you know that Jesus is the boss? He's already Lord. He is the head. Now, this word rule is the Greek word archie. And maybe you've seen or heard of the archbishop. It means the head honcho of a church. Well, Jesus is the head. He is the head over the highest of anything. Just think about that. There's no one higher than Christ. And then Paul goes on and he says, not only is he the head over all rule, but he's the head over all authority. Brothers and sisters, all you need is Jesus. How do you find Jesus? You find him here in his word. I hope this has blessed you. I hope this has encouraged you. I hope that this has lit a spark inside of you for you to get to know Jesus better. Thank you for watching. Join us again tomorrow as we continue this study of the book of Colossians.